Good evening and welcome to our weekly time of reflecting a little bit on some or other topic. It is such a privilege to be in your homes with you, and thank you for being in my home with me as well and with my family. So this past week something really funny happened, and it was so good just to laugh. Some of you may know that we have inherited the most delightful Siamese cat whose name is Mexico. And what happened in this past week is we noticed that he was standing mesmerized, or sitting or lying, it depended on what phase he was in the next hour or so, looking intently at the bookcase, underneath the bookcase that is at our front door. And what we noticed in the run of that hour is that a little lizard has taken up residence underneath the bookcase and was teasing Mexico. His little head would pop out and Mexico would go for him, and then he would pop back in again, and so it went on for about an hour. As you can imagine, this was absolutely hysterical, that this little lizard had so much power over this cat, who was hypnotized and kept just looking intently. It really was tremendously funny, and it was lovely as a family to share in the delight and just in the funniness of the situation. I wonder how many of us have been on the lookout for something in which to delight, to rejoice in, and simply to laugh. It feels good when we're able to do that. Healthy laughter really is very good for us. And I really don't mean that kind of laughter which is derogatory or cruel, nasty about it, but the one that is full of fun, laughs at the absurdity of life, is joyful and delightful, because in a lot of research, not all of it, but quite a lot of research, it says to us when that genuine laughter, smiles, giggles, whatever form of that release of endorphins may take, it is physiologically very healthy for us. It relaxes us, it can lift our mood, it increases the blood flow, so it's healthy for our circulation. It sometimes can help to restore some sort of perspective when things have got really heavy, and it is good for the soul. This led me to wondering, did Jesus ever laugh? Well, the truth is that he was at least with 12 other men, and I have no doubt that being with the boys must have at some point led them to ragging each other, teasing one another, and just laughing. Surely that capacity to laugh comes from God. And throughout the Bible there are numerous verses that talk about people delighting in God, God delighting in us. There are lots of verses about rejoicing and the joy of the Lord. Now, I don't know about you, but certainly when I hear those kinds of words, it has that feeling of a happiness that expresses itself in some form of smiling or laughter, for lack of a better word. There's a lovely story about, a true story, and it was written about in about 1964 in a book that was all about Jesus and laughter. This is a Christian scholar, his name is Elton Trueblood, and one day, we're not given the context, he was sitting reading aloud from one of the Gospels, and his 7-year-old son happened to be around in the vicinity and heard him reading this particular passage. And when he got to one specific verse, the little boy burst out laughing. And this scholar was very puzzled, and so he asked his son, "Why are you laughing? What's so funny?" And this little boy said, "That verse that you've just read there is so funny." And what was the verse that he was reading? Well, it was Matthew chapter 7, verses 3 to 5, when Jesus talks about the absurdity of pointing out the speck of dust in someone's eye when we ourselves have this huge plank in our eye. And it took a child to see how absurd that was and to actually laugh. And there are a number of really humorous passages where when you think about it, when you reflect on the image, when you listen in Jesus' parables all over the place. What about that lovely verse in Matthew chapter 23, verse 24? And it is an hysterically funny image where the Pharisees, Jesus says, are straining out the gnat, and yet they're swallowing a camel. Just picture that, and you'll see the funny side of it. One of the Beatitudes talks about laughter as well. In Luke chapter 6, verse 21, in the second half of that verse, it reads, "Blessed are you when you weep now, for you will laugh." Apparently, on the whole, laughter is spontaneous. It's not something that we can synthetically create and have the same value or health perspective to it. I know sometimes one is expected to laugh when you're not feeling like it. And what is fascinating is that laughter is 30% more frequent in a social setting than when we are on our own. Laughter is also more contagious than a virus, believe it or not. And whilst COVID-19 might be separating us, laughter as a primary goal actually draws us together. It socially bonds us. Anne Bryan Smollen wrote a wonderful book called Tickle Your Soul, and this is an excerpt from that book. She says, "There's nothing like a good laugh. It tickles our very souls. Laughter is an activity of the heart. We scrunch our souls with negativity and lack of enthusiasm, but laughter smooths them out. Laughter makes a noise so others can hear our feelings." So what about it? What about in the days ahead, looking for that which delights us, that which is absurd, ironic, witty, funny, and just giggle, smile and laugh, and let's draw the whole universe into a wonderful socialization of connectivity through laughter. Thank you for smiling and laughing with me.